Welcome to Tush Twins, heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com, a streaming platform heard around the world and beyond. And they're my two,
Yo,
and they're my two adjoining cheeks,
that's right.
Maxine,
Where are the
and
cheeks?
Hello.
Maxine and
Hello.
Paula. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
Hello.
incognito today.
Yeah,
I
Why?
was I was on an airboat and it
An
was very windy
airboat?
and a bit air one of those wind boats that go
Okay.
really fast in the swamps.
That's
And
exciting.
I got windburned. I got sun poisoning in
yeah.
my eyes.
Show us your eyes.
No, no, it's okay. You want to see him?
I want to see it.
Oh, you're not getting to see him. That was Oh, I see it. Gee.
It hurts. And the
When
light
when
hurts my
when did you
eyes.
do that? When did you go there?
That was on Monday. But I had the
Okay.
greatest time. They were going so fast and we're doing wheelies and turns. It was cool.
Was
In the
this like a
middle
tour
of the
or something?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It was a
This
3 hour tour.
Oh,
A
maybe
3 hour tour.
What
weather
exactly is a
started
wind boat?
getting rough.
What was that?
What exactly is a wind boat?
It's an airboat. You know, the
It's an
boat that has
airboat
the
that had
fan
turb
behind.
yeah, the
It
fan
has a fan in
boats.
the back. They say in the
Yeah.
okay, they say in the swamps. Okay.
You've seen the
Like in
swamps in
like
the
the
Everglades.
Everglades. Yeah, yeah. See,
We
we're
were
even
on one for
Sitting in the
16
shades of the
people.
Everglades.
well,
It was so much fun, though. I have to tell you, with oh my God. Did you know that alligators don't see color? So when you're being attacked by an alligator and taken away because they see white only. So to get their attention, they throw marshmallows into the swamps and the alligators come running out for marshmallows.
because
That's
they're
what they eat. They love marshmallows. And it's white.
hey, you never know. They might like
I have this.
marshmallow.
I know
They
a
have marshmallow topping in Carvel. They might like
They probably
vanilla ice cream with marshmallow topping.
yeah.
sound familiar. My favorite.
Maybe, maybe a vanilla egg cream. I don't know.
Mmm.
You can eat it. You
Mmm.
can drink some and then give it to the
They
alligators.
like the white. The
how about a
people are
chubby white
dressed in
woman?
white
How
shorts.
about a chubby
They
white
they
woman?
A chubby white,
they
would they
love
like
chai.
a chubby white woman would probably, you know.
Yeah,
I
they're
I went
just
on,
big.
years and years and years ago. We went to the Everglades. We did one of the boats there.
Isn't
Uh
that cool?
it was it was really cool actually. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, we did see some alligators. I'm not fond of them, but I would see alligators in my uncle's house, the lake around his in Boynton Beach, which is not far from Delray and Palm Beach.
Hmm.
And he had, I mean, it was, really high-end homes there. And he had a
Right.
pool and outside, and he had golf. We used to go there
Nice.
and hit the golf things,
The
when
golf things.
when
Like
he was the
mean balls.
driving range, but golf balls, yeah, those. Do they like golf balls, the alligators? They're white.
They like anything white. They will go after anything white.
Oh, not orange though.
No,
Ah,
not orange,
shucks.
not
Yeah.
black, not purple,
Shucks, not orange.
white, not
Oh,
orange.
oh well.
Unless
Yeah,
his hair when he sees it turns white and then
yeah,
he goes,
yeah. No, it's
Hmm.
no.
okay. I'm not one to be happy with alligators.
Okay,
Not on
so
my
how was the
not on
second half of the tour? The last, where did we leave you last?
in
We
Mississippi.
were
I
on
was
Mississippi.
I was gonna
We're in
ask you if you
Vicksburg.
saw the 30-foot sea monster, the
No.
mosasaur, and they literally. This was just, I'll just give this quickly. It says geologists recently unearthed the vertebrae of a giant prehistoric marine lizard during field
Mhm.
work. Um, 17 inches across, but
Wow.
they say someone was 30 foot and they
Whoa.
were completely awestruck by the size. Uh, and it was
Like
the
this?
largest, right, it was the largest
Awestruck.
ever to swim in the prehistoric precursor of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico.
I
Uh,
kept hearing people through the whole trip, the Gulf of America.
oh, I would have pushed
Uh,
them in. I would have pushed them over to visit the alligator. I would not have stand for that shit. I would have
Den's
pushed
like,
them off the. I would have pushed them off the boat. But anyway, so any of the scientists and the geologists, were overwhelmed and elated by this find because it was a recent trip to an area near Starkville on the Mississippi.
Starkville?
Starkville,
I'm taking last
where
train to Starkville.
where they were planning a survey of geologic layers underground. They found
Oh, cool.
traces of ancient life in beds of seashells from when Mississippi was underwater millions of years ago. In a
It
layer of
was.
mud, of mud, they noticed something clearly not rock. They brought the fossil to the Mississippi Museum of Natural Science.
Mm-hmm.
Paleontologists identified it as belonging to the Mosasaurus.
Moses.
Moses.
Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurus.
Uh,
Moses
perhaps
supposes.
Mosasaurus
Mosasaurus. Wait down.
Hoffmani, perhaps the largest of its kind to ever exist. And anyway, it was the first mosasaur was discovered 250 years ago in the Netherlands and was named after Johann Leonard Hoffman.
Oh, yeah,
But
Johann Leonard Hoffman.
ay, ay,
He did
ay.
the Hoffman dance.
That's right. So,
Didn't he originally play with the Beatles
uh, did
before
he?
Yeah,
Ringo?
I think
I think
so.
he was the
Yeah,
Uh,
drummer.
before Ringo.
yeah, yeah, sure. Uh, you're all nuts. So anyway, so what else did you do? You sent me a picture while I was actually doing my other show. It was a picture of a plant. It was an Exxon plant spewing toxic fumes into
Yeah,
the
fumes and
atmosphere.
everything. And
And
Baton Rouge,
oh
Baton
boy,
Rouge.
which
Baton
means red stick. That's the name of the country, the town called Red Stick.
Red
That's the
Stick.
capital, right?
Yes. No,
Louisiana.
capital is New Orleans.
I thought
New
it was
Orleans.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. No? New
I'm not
Orleans?
sure.
I don't
It's
know.
all parishes. And
Yeah.
I have to say, though, of all the places I went to in Louisiana, New Orleans was the best.
Well, of course. I mean, that's like
We saw fist fights every half hour. I don't know if they were staged or whatever, but these
well, that's not
drunken, we were just
I like
standing
That
there.
is the
We
capital
took
of
videos of people having fist
Louisiana.
fights, and like they're fighting like this.
Well,
uh
you just to clarify, the capital of
Baton, yeah.
Louisiana is Baton Rouge.
It's
Uh,
Baton Rouge. Okay,
right,
that's tiny town. It really isn't the greatest. It's
uh,
okay. It's basically a college town. That's
Well,
it.
it's like Albany is
Baton
the
Rouge.
capital of New York and Sacramento is the capital of California. They're not the major towns.
uh,
Tulane. Everyone
well,
was from Tulane. They had the tiger. He was sleeping.
Tulane is a pretty good school though.
Yes, it
But
is. It's
New Orleans is you got to watch where you're going in certain areas. I'm sure they told you don't make a left turn on this street. But did you see any jazz? Did you see?
we saw a lot of jazz. We saw a
Okay.
Louis Armstrong tribute.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
We
I'm glad it was a
listened to
tribute.
this guy, Jeffrey Davenport. They named the lounge after him at the Ritz-Carlton. His band was
I
spectacular
thought they named the
Saturday
couch
night.
after him, the Davenport.
Ha ha
Ah,
ha
ah,
ha
ah,
ha ha
ah,
ha.
ah. Now it
Very.
was great. That we went to different little bars and there was music playing in every single place we went to.
Did you have chicory and beignets?
Chicory coffee is not my type
Yeah, it's
of
not your
coffee.
thing, huh? Yeah, I didn't
No,
like it either. Even when I
no.
tried it, because someone who was there brought home some chicory for me, and I tried it, and I was like,
No.
no, coffee.
Though my favorite beignets, I tried at Cafe du Monde, Cafe Beignet, but the Ritz-Carlton where we stayed made the best beignets of all of them.
Really,
Fresh. Yes.
sounds good.
They
They
were
should they
delicious.
should have a. I wonder, do they sell them in New York anywhere? Is there like a New Orleans style
They say
store?
it's Seppi's.
Zeppeli is a beignet, pretty
There's
much. Right,
beignets,
right.
Italian beignets.
Italian
And
beignets.
Zeppelin?
truthfully,
Is
I I love Zeppelis,
Yeah.
especially in the bag. You shake it up with the
Right. And you got
powder,
the
gets
oil,
all
and
over
then you
your
got
hands. Yeah,
Well, I love
the
going the Zeppeli where you go to the
the
Italian
fair
festivals
festival.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
and they grab the dough out and throw it
Yeah.
into the hot oil and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yep.
Yep,
It's
that's
sizzled,
it.
and then they put the
and they put it in the bag and
confection sugar,
the
and you get
powdered
all
Oh,
sugar
white and greasy. Bleh.
it's the best.
But hey,
and it gives you a heart attack within 10
yeah,
minutes.
yeah, well, once in a while, as long as you don't
But you
eat it
go
every day.
but you go out with a smile on your face.
Yeah, well, I
They
definitely
have
would
little
love to go.
mini ones at our hotel too. Every day between 2 and 3, there is like they're giving out beignets for free to all the people at the hotel. So you keep going back and forth to get more beignets, little
Oh
ones.
God, I
They
think
were so good.
people would have had a problem if Les were there because he would have just
Ugh.
taken all of them. That would have been the end of it right there.
And for
Um,
breakfast, we always had it after breakfast.
Okay,
They
yeah,
were
now
so
well,
good.
did you gain any weight or did you go on the scale?
No, I didn't go on scale. And I think I must have gained, well, I lost the 28 pounds before I left.
Yeah, oh,
And I think I probably gained back 4 or 5 of
no,
those,
that's not bad.
that's
if
okay.
that.
But you have to
Um,
learn how to stop eating.
You know what? I
hey,
still stop
you're on
eating.
vacation.
I'm
Like,
on, yeah.
screw it. At
No,
that
no,
point,
no,
it's
no, but I
like,
mean, the problem is when you go on vacation, yeah, it's fine to eat. But when you come back and you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go on a diet. And then
yeah,
I didn't eat that much when I was on
all of a sudden
vacation
it's two,
either.
3 weeks later and you still haven't gone on your diet.
right. Well,
Well, I still like today I just had 2 chicken wings for
you know,
breakfast, lunch. I'm back to my
yeah.
normal.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
have I
With or
had
without
no
skin?
I had an egg
With
this morning, egg and toast. Um
Fried or
yeah,
boiled?
fried
I just kind of put it in and flipped it over. I don't know. It's
eggs.
I
I
like
had
I
I
try
had
to make,
pancakes in a way. I
of
had
course,
crayfish
omelets.
omelets.
Please,
Yeah,
How do you
crawfish,
even eat
crawfish,
how do you eat those things?
crawfish.
I mean, how do
They
you eat the
take they
ones
take
that you have to take the shell?
the
Oh,
tail off. That's the tail, the little tail. And you cut.
but
It's like a little shrimp. It's so good. I don't do it. I let them do
it
it for me. It's so
well,
good.
What
I
are
would never.
crawdads?
Crawdads, yeah, the
The,
crayfish,
the little
Crayfish?
crayfish. I mean, they're
crawfish, crayfish. Depends where
uh
you are. In New England, the crayfish. Yeah, down south, the crawfish,
you, cr-
Crawfish.
did you like get some? Did you
crawfish.
get some accents? Did you hear some accents? Did you find Casper the
Um,
friendly ghost on
oh,
your
I went
ghost
ghost
tour?
hunting, and my
Did
machine
you
that they
find?
have, you point it to different graves,
Mm.
and if there are live ghosts there, it goes off. I kept pointing. I think they fixed it because every time I pointed at a grave, it would
You
go
know,
off.
Of course, they probably put something in there and it would go,
Yeah.
"Broop," you know. Yeah.
So I don't believe in ghosts, but
but
these people really went to this graveyard and they explained how these little grave things, you could put like 500 bodies in it.
I think
Ugh.
your bodies.
In
Yeah, it's a
what?
long story how they get all
Uh,
they push it. It takes every 4 years they could put another body in it because
wow. I can't
it's
wait to see.
unusual. And then they're going, they had one that was open, they pushed all the bones, everything to the back, and he goes, "Here, why don't you put your hand in and see how warm it is?" I'm going, "No, thank
No,
you.
No way.
no, no way, Jose.
Nah,
I'm
not me."
I don't know if you like doing it, but I think it's a pretty common. But when I go to like places like in New England, something that has long history, I like to go to graveyards
I do too.
to read
I
tombstones.
I went
I
when I was in Edinburgh. I
I
went
that's
to
true.
we went on like a ghost tour and they bring you to the cemetery. Except when I went, we had maybe 12 people, and as we were
Mhm.
starting, because it was right near where we were staying, which was
Right?
near the church. Um, we were right across from it, and all of a sudden, everyone's phone started to buzz.
Ooh,
And while we were looking down, because when you go to Europe, you get the BBC on your phone. That's the only news you're going to really get.
right.
I had the BBC on. And these three women started to cry. And they literally, one of them screamed out, "Oh my God, the Queen is dead!" the Queen, remember I told you this,
Yes,
the Queen had passed away.
right.
And so there were some people from England. They were so distraught. The guy goes, if you want to leave, leave. We'll give you money back, whatever. But the rest of us stayed. There were some Aussies. There were some Americans. So I think when I go away, I'm gonna just say I'm from New York. So
Did they start
I'm from
playing?
Brooklyn. So, I mean, that's
Did
what
they
I'm
start
gonna
saying
say.
God save the Queen"?
Oh God. So anyway, literally
Save the queen.
we had to walk to the graveyard, and it was past a building that was a government building, and already there was a guy bringing the flag down half-mast as we're going
Mm-hmm.
by. And then here we are looking at gravesites. The Queen just died. On the way back, we saw the bus stops had a picture of her with her date of birth, 19, whatever it was. I was like,
23.
how, I mean, they were just, they knew, boom, they
Well,
knew.
they had everything prepared because they knew she was gonna
Right.
be
Well,
going soon.
she
They
was at
knew.
Balmoral, and then Hollywood, we were supposed to go to see the castle there, and while we were looking for the Loch Ness monster, we never found that either. She
Hmm.
apparently passed away and was in Balmoral. So I was in the Highlands when she was there and
Was
she
there.
passed. And then Edinburgh, it was just crazy. And then we had we had tickets purchased for that Friday morning to go to Holly, not Wood. Hollywood it was called, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it was just nuts, the whole trip with that. It was
Yeah, didn't you
crazy
stay
to
in the
me.
hotel for across the street where the Queen was or something?
Yeah, it was an Airbnb, which used to be part of the Parliament building.
Hmm.
So it was just nuts. I was watching the BBC bring trucks in because there was like maybe 100 yards between where we were staying. Now we were staying on the fourth floor and had an absolute view. So
Right.
I'm wondering, and then they started cordoning off the place where I was staying. They wouldn't let us in. After a while, we had to go through a tunnel and go around the other way. It was because they wouldn't let us through. And I said, we're staying there. Like, we don't care. They had to have, been checking residents there to see
Yeah.
who they were. I'm sure they knew we were there, and it's just crazy. But anyway, we were across from St. Giles, and the day before I wanted to look at the church, and she died
Yeah.
the next day, of course. And then the royal family was going to be there, but we had to go to Glasgow, so we missed it. But the street, the police told us you would never get out if you left that day. You'll never get out.
Wow.
So we had to leave the day before, and we went to Glasgow. We took the train, and it was one of the last trains because there was no trains the next
Yeah,
day
remember,
at
it's
all.
the last train to
Last train
Glasgow.
to
Yeah.
Glasgow.
And
And
I'm meeting
so
you at the
so I was
station.
upset. I was upset that we were gonna miss this whole thing because it's historic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get off the train. Notice I'm not talking about Seattle. Good luck to us.
Yeah.
We got off the
Yeah.
train in Glasgow, and what was just E and I, and we're looking across, and all of a sudden there's like 1,000 people in this park, and we're going like, what is going on? Well, they were having the ceremony there in Glasgow for the Queen and the King.
Hmm.
And they did and the guy came out with the robe and the hair, the long, and he was doing a whole ceremony. The bagpipers were there, people in community, the politicos, and here I am. At least I got to see some,
Yeah.
see the
Something.
ceremony and have them go, "Long live the King! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!" It was like
Oh
I thought
my
I was in a
God.
Monty Python movie. But anyway,
Albatross,
it,
get your
it,
albatross.
it was crazy.
Albatross.
I almost screamed out, "Don't say nee, say icky, icky, icky." Uh, but it was crazy. I have to admit that it was quite the time for to be there when that happened. And so yeah. All right, we'll go into
Anyway, back to the present.
back to the present. So yeah, Seattle.
Yeah, you were in
Were you ever in
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle? You weren't, were you?
No.
It's a cool place.
I've never been there.
You never been there either.
That's the
It
home of the garage bands.
it's the home of grunge, and it's the home
Grunge.
of Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix. Uh,
Jimi Hendrix is
Yep.
from
Jimi Hendrix is from
Seattle.
Seattle. He is amazing. I mean, I went to the Museum of Pop Culture, called Mopop, and
Mopop.
they have everything with music, culture.
That's
It's
cool.
one of the nicest. It was a Geary building, so
Oh, I love
it's totally nuts the way the building's put together, and part of it looks like has this is pink and then gold in the way he wrapped, because he's like he can do some really
Wacko.
crazy
Yeah.
wacko
There,
stuff.
yeah.
And but the museum itself, the curation of it was really fantastic. I
Oh, cool.
saw they had everything from Nirvana there.
Oh, cool.
It
How come
was
all these rock
Kurt
icons,
Cobain,
they all
and
died at
then
28? Is
well,
that the magic age?
Cobain offed himself. Hendrix had a OD'd. Him and our other
Janice.
friend Janice, that kind of the same similar times, right? And then
Yeah, well,
Yes, they're
what
just
were they all?
weeks apart.
They were all 28 years old or
they're like
something?
Something
27 or
like that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were all about the same age.
Yeah.
And but it was cool to see all the letters and lyrics and stuff Hendrix wrote on like napkins,
Mm-hmm.
and to see articles and pictures and his clothing. It was crazy,
Yeah.
and
Did you have
they
any memorabilia like that from Phil that he wrote on
we
things?
had it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They returned it to us. So we had our
Yeah,
stuff in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
but
but
they're not
they're
in
not
it.
in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In
They
the
got there.
Rock and Roll Hall of Secrets, as Mitch would say. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so
Which
they
is so
put,
stupid.
I mean,
Dumb.
I mean, Chubby Checker had the twist. The twist beat the Lion Sleeps Tonight that year for record of the year, by the way. I didn't
Yes, I
even know
know.
they were nominated for a Grammy. I never knew that. They didn't have Grammy awards like they do now.
No.
So that to me, he had that record and then Twist again. But the Tokens, what
On
they
the floor.
did was far out there in terms of not only the recording of The Lion and subsequent songs, but they were the first group to produce another group's number one record. They had, Akel Records from that. They were one of the first groups to play their own instruments. I mean, they
They're one of the
literally,
first groups. They are the first groups to be in the copyright building for suing George Harrison and won.
well, that was Bright Tunes. Yep,
Yeah, but
that's true.
still,
Well,
that's still,
it's the intellectual property kids who take their, first classes in law school. That is one of the first cases they give them. And of
mm-hmm,
course, your godson didn't quite
mm-hmm,
believe me until when he goes, "Yeah, I'm having, that course, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "I can tell you right now, the
Mhm.
first thing you're gonna get is Bright Tunes versus Harrison."
Your Uncle Phil.
Okay? And then,
mm-hmm.
of course, it happens.
Of course.
And he's in the classroom, and he's like, him doesn't sit still anyway, but he did sit through law school and got past two bar exams, so he couldn't believe, that what I said was real. And it
Mm-hmm.
actually is a case that they all look at. Every case for copyright infringement is going to use that case in their
Yeah.
documents. So he's like going like this, and basically it was like his the professor was like, what are you doing? What's going on with you?
Did he tell the professor that that's his uncle?
I believe he did say that this is my uncles, my family, my mom, and the teacher was like, "Huh?" I mean, what are the odds of the teacher having a student who is that close to
Like,
the situation? And so yeah, so I'm just when I sometimes when I say things, it's real, believe me. But anyway,
I
that's uh
agree.
that's a big case. And it was in the copyright in the Library of Congress. It was
Yeah.
on the wall.
It's still there.
When I walked in, it was there was a display of copyrights, and what was in there? It was the sheet music and the chiffons were on the cover, and it
Mm-hmm.
had the case, Harrison, he's so fine, my sweet Lord. It did like a little thing of it, synopsis.
Right.
And I'm looking at that. And then when I went to get some document, I was looking at whatever, some copyrights, and then I put Bright Tunes music. The guy who was there knew that Bright Tunes music. He goes, "Are you really from Bright Tunes Music?" And I'm like, "Yeah, do I get like a gold star or something? Like what?" He was like, "Whatever you need." It's like, "Let me know." Like this is like, so cool. It's like that's only something a geek would would know, right? But anyway. But Seattle is, I went to the Space Needle. There's always comparisons to the Eiffel Tower. It's 600 feet shorter, but it has a roving floor that you can look, and it's glass. So you could
Mm-hmm.
go around and look at, I've taken pictures of it, because geek me. And it was just so cool. It used to be a restaurant, but now you can get cocktails. They have tables and chairs, and you could get,
Oh, cool.
totally pie-eyed as you're going around and going, "What?" It's
Yeah,
like, what are
yeah.
we doing here? So, that was pretty cool. And then they had the a glass museum there, which blew me away. It is just it's it I can't even, I don't know if I can show you.
That Chihuly there?
Yeah, that's Chihuly. It's
Yeah,
Chihuly.
'cause that's a
It's
great. I used to go to all his exhibits when he was in come to New York, and they have a
Yeah, they would
great one in
be
Vegas. Oh my
also the
God,
Botanic
the
Gardens.
The Bellagio has one. It's beautiful.
I mean, this was one of the creations of, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, he's
it's it's
amazing.
it's this is all glass. It's
I
all
know.
glass. It's unreal. And he's done projects around the world, in Venice and New York at Botanic Gardens and
Yeah,
Vegas. Uh, how he does this is beyond me. So
they're
there's, and of
beautiful.
course we went to the, Pike Market.
Yeah.
The
Did you get to
topography.
watch him throw the fish?
Sarah saw Mitch's dear friend Sarah and our good friend
Yeah.
Sarah. And for the first time, you finally got here, biatch, you got here. And she took, first thing she goes, takes us to the Pike Market. And of course, "Oh, if we get lucky, we can see them throw the fish." And what do you think I said?
No, thank you.
That's right. No, thank you. I said, if they throw the fish and it lands near me or by me, I'm gonna scream. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, I used
But
to see them throw fish at Prospect Park in the Central Park and at the zoo where they had the seals,
Uh-huh. Oh
and they
yeah.
used to feed the fish at lunch hour.
no,
They,
I,
I want to
I,
see them. I want to catch one. I want to do that.
I totally said no.
You,
That ain't gonna happen. Of course, you go to the OG of Starbucks. The first Starbucks is there, and then they have something called the gum wall, where
Gum wall.
people put their gum. It is
Ugh,
the craziest shit you could possibly imagine. And
disgusting. To
there's
me, gum
gum.
is
but
nauseating.
they have that in several cities. I know in St. Louis Obispo in Santa Barbara, where the
They
college
have it
used to
in
have a gum wall.
Amsterdam too.
The gum wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This happened like right around COVID. Who would want to
It's
have
disgusting. I would just
gum
gross.
gum on
The
the
idea.
wall? I mean, it's like, what are
Gum
you? I'm trying to
on
find gum on the
the
wall. But it was beautiful. I mean, they have Puget Sound, and then they have the Cascades, and then Mount Rainier and the Olympic Mountains, and the topography is absolutely gorgeous. And the
I can
only
imagine.
the only thing, this is part of the gum wall. That's all
Yeah.
gum. It's gum.
Oh,
You see?
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
it's gross.
You know how I
So,
feel about gum.
Did
you know how I
Ugh,
feel about fish.
yeah, same
So,
thing, gum.
but anyway, we took the ferry across, which was nice, and
Okay.
but they do have an issue. Their homeless problem is pretty bad,
Yeah,
and you don't know what you're going to get when you walk and turn the corner. I was pretty much on my own for a couple of days because he was at the conference like all day and into the night. I mean, he went to the Mopop Museum as part of one of the events. And that day it was closed and I couldn't go that day, the day I wanted. But I had to kind of navigate the city and the streets, and I wanted to, walk from where I was to the monorail. It was like a couple of
hmm
mile walk. They have streets that are like San Francisco, so you try
yeah,
to avoid them. But if you take a wrong turn and go down a wrong street,
You
no
still
good.
be there.
No, there's a very big homeless issue and problem. And I wound up in Pioneer Square one evening to just pick something up, and I had an encounter with this guy who was nuts while I was in the store waiting for the food. And he came in and started screaming, and he took the guy who's the manager and literally picked him up and started to shake him. He was like the size of Danny DeVito, the short guy.
oh,
And we were all there and we're like, what the hell? You got to call the cops. Well, they said, we can't call the cops. I ran. I gave them like probably $4 or $5 over what I owed because I said, here's a 10, I'm out.
Hmm.
I'm like not staying there. And I ran. I literally was like, get, and people are just looking, they're just looking. This guy could have like stabbed this guy. I don't know. So they say, in the hotels, do not go out at night yourself, especially women, even
hmm
men. If you're going anywhere, Uber back and forth. Do not go after dark.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
wasn't quite
if
dark.
it's a crazy guy, so he's going to attack men, women, or
Mhm.
whoever.
Well, no, this
yeah,
place, Pioneer Square, is known to have like a homeless population. There's blocks you kind of need to know what streets have more than others, and they're in your face. They're like, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, New York has them, but
They're
these
not in
guys are
your
like,
face.
these guys are
Oh.
just
Anyway,
But
guys,
they're also in New Orleans also. There are lots in New
well,
Orleans. But if you
yeah.
stay on Bourbon Street or the French
yeah,
Quarter or the main Canal
That's it. You
Street,
have to you have
that's
to know
it.
where to
Stay.
stay. But my thing was I was able to navigate, walk a couple of miles and get to the monorail, which is
yeah.
a big 3-minute ride to the
Well,
Seattle.
I'm sure Google has a page for each city where you go to a
Yeah.
city and say "Do not walk"
Yeah,
page.
yeah, there
Mm.
are. Yeah, I mean, you can look and there's
Avoid.
places, but
Anyway, guys.
anyway, but having seeing Sarah was like my favorite thing too.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, our time is up.
She says hello, and Samantha, her daughter, the
I
daughter.
think you guys should do more traveling so we could have it on the
I
show.
think, yeah.
I'll be heading out to Finland next month, so
Okay, so we got
maybe I'll do a
Finland.
show from there. It's only 6 hours, five. I don't know
Yeah,
what the thing is.
I
Five,
Good dog,
mean,
good
six.
dog, good day.
on the
Gadagadi,
computer, you're around the corner.
Yalishtaka blue.
I mean, I'm bringing my phone, but I don't think I'm going to be using most of it, and I am really going to take some things off of it. So, yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, well, anyway, guys, you have a great week
I'm glad you had a good time. Glad you're
Had a
back.
great time. I'm home
and
and
feel better.
thank you. And everyone, happy Memorial Day weekend
When is
to
Memorial Day
everyone.
weekend? That this
This
coming
This
this
weekend?
this
weekend, this
coming
week.
weekend.
Oh, I thought it was the weekend after. I don't know why.
No,
No,
no.
it's this
No, the
weekend,
weekend
last
after is my
Monday.
son's bachelor party. Your godson's in Charleston.
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have no words. I don't want to know. All right. I said I just want to know when you get there, you're safe there, and then when you come back, you're
Anyway,
safe.
guys, have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Have fun.
And you're
Peace out,
listening to
everyone.
Tush Twins,
Peace
heard
out.
on malcolmpresents.com. And see you
Peace,
guys
peace.
next week.
Peace, peace.
Bye.
Ciao.
Shalom.
Shalom, tata.
Shalom, tata. Peace, man.